Hello everyone and welcome into today's video, which is very exciting because we have some crazy news about Algorand going on. And I mean, we have to jump right into the news, so without any further ado, let's go. And guys, it has officially happened. The Algorand Foundation has a new CEO, Stacy Warden. Now, if you missed out the last video, which by the way is linked here in the top right hand corner, this wouldn't be such a weird thing having a new CEO. It happens all the time for various reasons. However, there has been quite a heavy speculation about the new CEO and why there is this change happening. So in order to make sense of this video, you should definitely catch up with the last video. But now let's take things in order. So on February 10th, 2022, the Algorand Foundation announced the immediate appointment of Stacy Warden as their CEO. And actually, she is not a new member for Algorand, previously served on the Algorand Foundation's board since September 2021, so a couple of months already getting familiar with Algorand Foundation, so not any abrupt transitions. What is very interesting though, that previously Warden has led global teams at the Milken Institute, also JP Morgan, Nasdaq Stock Exchange, and also the US Treasury Department, which is very important, and we will get to this point later in the video. Then they continue with pretty much the usual comments which you would expect, that this is a new step in the Algorand Foundation's mission to catalyze the growth of the Algorand ecosystem, and also that 2022 will be a key year in the development of both the Algorand network and also wider crypto ecosystems, as we will see a rapid acceleration of the adoption of these crypto-based industries like global crypto market, DeFi, NFTs, etc. And also we also have a couple of words about the last CEO, Sean Lee, who has spent over 18, they say, critical months in that role, and they say that he's decided to begin the new year exploring career opportunities outside of the Algorand Foundation. But what I wanted to emphasize here, that he launched the community governance in the final quarter of 2021, which also ties up into the last video, where there have been a couple of concerns with the government, so definitely keep an eye for this in the future. And then we have even more info about Stacy Warden, where previously at the Milken Institute she ran the global market development practice, where she worked on capital market development, also crypto blockchain solutions and innovative finance to promote the sustainable development goals. And also prior to that she ran JP Morgan's EMEA, which stands for Europe, Middle East and Asia, public sector practice out of London. And before the JP Morgan, she led the Nasdaq's 2 markets for micro cap companies, and in the public and non-profit sectors had senior roles at the US Treasury Department, the Center for Global Development and the Harvard Institute for International Development. And we can also quickly check out her LinkedIn, where we have another very important bit of information, and that is that she indeed is from the United States, from Washington, which is probably the most important info that I wanted to know about the new CEO, again in relation to the last video, and we will get to this in just a minute. Also, she says that I'm never giving you investment advice, which I should say as well. I'm just bringing you this new exciting news about Algorand, but you for sure should make your own due diligence. This is very important if you are trying to invest. Cool thing is that they mention here that Algorand Foundation is the best layer 1 blockchain. I mean, I'm sure there are a bunch of people outside of Algorand fan base that would argue with this statement, but certainly for me Algorand is one of the better ones I've seen, and surely one of my most favorite ones. Also way down here we can see an education. She studied at Harvard University, which still has a very good reputation. But maybe more interesting to me is that in 2014 she made this publication about Bitcoin, currency for paranoiacs, or an idea that that will change the world, and I think she might have been onto something in this article. And now I want to also show you another comment from this gentleman on Reddit right here, which we've checked out in previous video, and he is obviously checking this situation as well and has something to say about it. And he says that he has a very important snippet about her time at JP Morgan. This gentleman mentions that obviously everyone has been focusing on her experience at JP Morgan, but this is the description from her LinkedIn profile for that position. So he extracted this information from LinkedIn, where it says that she was executive director at JP Morgan for 8 years from 2004 to 2012 in New York and London, etc. But the most important thing here is that she managed central bank and multilateral institution relationships in Europe, Central Europe, Africa, Russia, and Central Asia. So that means that she worked specifically with central banks in Europe, Africa, and Asia. And he then goes and says that this is hugely bullish, as Algorand looks to work with central banks to develop CBDCs. And as we've seen, she became the director on the board just in September 2021, and 4 months later pretty much she is the CEO, so that's pretty quick, but at least it's not a totally abrupt change. And he ends his comment with saying that she's a slam dunk for this position and couldn't be more excited. Now I think this fuels the previous theory even more. We have confirmation that she is indeed a US based citizen, also did her studies in US and previously worked mainly in the US. And also, as the gentleman mentioned, more confirmation towards the CBDC is that she works specifically with the central banks in Europe, Africa, and Asia. So what do you guys think? I think it's pretty crazy that we had this theory even before the official announcement, and now after the official announcement of the new CEO, this theory can still continue. Obviously it's not 100% sure, but it's starting to look more and more probable. Now regarding the price charts, actually there hasn't been that much going on lately, not many new developments. We are pretty much still just above this uptrending support line, which I mentioned a couple of times in previous videos, so if you haven't seen them, definitely feel free to check them out. I explained more relations of this development a bit further, but since the last video there hasn't been that much changes, so I won't take more of your time going over pretty much the same thing now. So with this, I thank you for watching, and I will definitely keep you posted about any new updates about Algorand, what's going to be happening with this CBDC theory, and also the price charts in the future. So for that, you can subscribe or leave a like on this video if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!